I was hoping you'd show back up. I'm John Zidar. This is October 7th, Thursday. On behalf of PB Alerts, we have got some hot alerts you really want, but we've got that excellent training you can put to good use. This is on the top and hot. Every day I go looking for OTC stocks that are going to run. And I don't care what makes them run. Catalysts, news, rumors, filings, it doesn't matter. And we try to get ahead of those. So we made a list yesterday. We'll go take a look and see how we did with those. And then we're going to go searching for some more today. Come along. I'll show you where I look and what I look for. Now, if you're wondering what platform I use Think or Swim. TOS. It comes from Ameritrade. TD Ameritrade gives it to you absolutely free when you just sign up with them for a free account. So everything's free. Just go ahead and get yourself an account. You don't even have to trade with them. And they'll give you a link and you can download this. Okay, over here is our list. This is what we generated last night. We did have more green earlier into the day, but they did fall away. It was a very strong market over on the major markets. They were surging today. You could almost hear the money being siphoned over to there where all the action was taking place. Now, we have had some jumping, but it was nothing major. This one finished off at 15%. It is SPZI. It did 225 million shares, so it did have some action today. It hit its high here well after 10 o'clock. This is 11:30. That's when it hit its high, and that was about maybe 25% up. Had a small itty-bitty bump before it fell in the morning. So this was a tough one. I don't believe it was good for a morning play, but if you were watching the chart, you might have hung around for the rest of the day. Fern had a strong gain yesterday, and we just figured it was going to continue. It had that setup in the morning where it was all piled up right here. And as you can see, it did. It did take off. It hit its high at 10 o'clock in the morning. Boom! Just like we always think it will, 10:05. And where was that high? That hit at 042, and we started out down here at 036. So you're talking, roughly 15%, 18%. And again, it fell at 10 o'clock, which is what I tell you about these morning plays. You got to watch it, 10:05. Many of these stocks turn direction. So I just jump out at 10:05, get my gains, and even if it runs on, there's normally this dip, which I get to avoid, and I don't feel all that. So that went sideways the rest of the day. MRNJ. Again, this one had a setup. We had all that volume, and this was virtually a triple going into the doubles. And I said, well, if you come out of the triples, you start to get climb. It just won't go one bump up and fall. If we back this out, you can see that that is what it was doing. Just clip down, clip down. It wasn't doing anything. Today, it went 1, 2, 3, 4. That's called a run. It moved 4 spots up rather than back and forth or just one up and one down. So we did have a jump on this one today. It went from 001 to 0014, which is, 40% gains. It hit that quite a few times during the day. Now, what time did that hit? That one hit at 10:30. So if you had gotten out at 10, you would have been down here at only 20% gains. Nothing wrong with 20% gains. I don't want you to get spoiled here. All right, PTEL did nothing. It just broke even at the end of the day. It did have a small bounce in the morning. It did jump from 003 up to 0032. Not much to talk about. iQuest had a quick bounce, a quick drop, and sideways. And it looks like it's trying to recover now, but it did not work for us on a morning play. Again, the same thing. We had a quick jump down and sideways. We had a lot of that today. Like I said, once people saw the big market, the way it was moving, they were out of here. This one didn't do a whole lot, except I liked the bounce. See, we started up here at 16, and I said that if this drops, it would be a good play. And we were looking down here at I said down, and it went way down. It went way down here to 0.65. And up here you have 16 cents. And it jumped all the way back up to 15 cents. Folks, I'm just rough guessing here, but that is about 2,500% right there. So if you'd have watched this, as I said, looked for the dip, got in on the dip, and there was quite a few dips here. You could have grabbed any one of these because back up to 15 cents was going to make you some money. But because it fell from 16 cents, it was a losing day. However, that play could have made you a lot of cash even though it ended in the red. Those bounces you gotta love. BNOW, another one that had a quick bounce in the morning and fell and went sideways. Yes, it was a bit depressing. This one was just a blank. It had such a giant surge. There was all sorts of profit takers. It did break a high, and that's what you get. When you break a high, you expect a pullback. But that's not a pullback, folks. That was a fall. It started to recover, but that had nothing to do with our morning play. MGTI, this one did just like the rest. It had a big motion in the morning, though it wasn't up, and then it just fell. And DREM, even worse, this had a very large climb. You had your pullback off the high, and that just kept falling. People took their profits, may have been evacuating over to the major markets. This one did have a bounce back. You may have been able to catch it on a bounce and get in, but there wasn't a lot to be grabbed from it either. And LLBO. LLBO had a open right on the money, had a small dip and bounced, but nothing to get excited about again. So that's really all that happened today. All I can say is that a lot of these charts are on the bottom, as you can see down here, and some of them are still set up very nicely for recovery. I wouldn't exactly throw them away simply because they didn't do anything today. I thought I saw one here earlier. See, this was the one we were looking at that really caught my attention. And I wanted to keep my eye on this one, not just for today, but for many days, because this seems, I want to come back. This has huge bounces. Now that's 30 minutes. So you can see the bounces it's having in 30 minutes. Low bubble, high bubble. Anywhere down here at a 0.065 and you're taking it up into full pennies, you're making thousands of percent. This board is filled with thousands of percent. I would not take this off your list. MTEI. Keep an eye on this, folks. This has a small float and it has got a lot of attention and action right now. Even though there's not a lot of volume, there is a lot of profit right in these bounces. So don't throw this one away. Okay, so that is everything we had to look at. Now let's go searching for some new runners for Friday, October 8th. So this is my favorite place to start my DD, due diligence and research on any OTC stock. For one main reason, it's the only site that is backed by FINRA and the SEC. This is where they put all of their filings, all of the stock information. This is a legitimate site for investors to come to so that we can find the information and the companies can be transparent. This isn't a site trying to monitor your clicks or sell you anything. This is for you. And I get a lot of information here, and this is where we're going to start doing our search. First thing we're going to do is look at the OTC market. See these numbers? Watch them change. I've been on this page all day, but if you don't refresh the page, it doesn't change the numbers. See how they change? We had a good day on dollar volume, 2.8 billion. We haven't been over 2.1 for months. True, we have touched 2.4 and 2.5 3 times in the last 2 weeks. Today's 2.8. I think we're lifting up, which is kind of funny because it was a slow day on the OTC market. I said so, you could see it. And right here is why. There was only 22.3 billion shares today. A slow day is 30 billion. Imagine 22 billion. And our trades, 415,000. We've been up at 470, 480, but we've also been down to under 300 this month. So it is very volatile, and we should be up at 600 to really get the market moving again. Okay, we're going to jump right into this. I'm going to show you a place I found a stock today that I haven't taken you before. This is over here at Compliance Statistics. Compliance Statistics shows you a lot of different things about companies. You can see what companies have stock promotions going on so that you know that they're not being pumped and hyped up. They're actually paying companies to write about them so that you can keep up with their information. Shell status, reverse splits, company name changes, caveat emptor, and suspensions. A lot of good information here. Where I came to was Shell status changes. And I was looking for a company that has gotten off of being a shell and has now started making money. And I found this one. You can see that this just happened 9:30, which was just about a week ago. So let's go take a look at this stock. Click that button, it'll take you right over to the page of the stock and you can get lots of information about it right here. You can see the different titles here and we'll be going through those. This is pink current, so we're not playing this for a current. It's already good. You can just trade it normal. It's at 74 cents and it was up 21% today. Everything is good on this and you see it still says shell risk even though it has changed. What else can we learn about this? Well, let's come down here. If you scroll down to the bottom, you get recent news and recent filings all at a quick glance. We can see that just the other day, they had some news. This news isn't bad news at all. This is Bounce Mobile Systems. They signed a definitive agreement with British Cambridge College to further develop its curriculums and market accredited online programs. Online training right now is a very big thing. Lots and lots of new companies are breaking into online training, virtual training, and they are doing really, really well. So that's something to keep in mind here. Let's look at the volume for today. The volume, very low. Super duper low. About 1/10 of what it normally does. What else we got to look at? How about the share count? Come over here to security details and you can get that. Now, folks, this is amazing. 2 billion authorized. That's what they got in the bank, and 453 million are being sold to everybody. That is the shareholders, that is the insiders, that is the management, everybody. But what about just me and you? They call that the float. Look, folks, 607,000. 607,000 shares is unbelievable. It's under 1 million. Are you comprehending that? It's under 1 million, and this was just updated this last week. So we know it's accurate. So this has a very, very low float, which is exciting. Okay, back over here at TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim, I have got the 5-minute 5-day on the right and the 4-hour 6-month on the left. You can see that she has been on a small downtrend, just a small one, for the last 4 or 5 days after taking a huge jump. So it's basically just balancing itself out. Now, it seems to have fallen below the 50% mark, just under the price right now. Looks to be about right about there. Okay, so that comes out to about 82 cents roughly. And you can see she had, let me pull this up in a big picture so that you can make sense of this. 4-hour 6-month, she was on a plateau down here, and then she hit a second plateau up here, and it looks like she's trying to build up to a third plateau. You can see she goes up and comes down and grabs about the center of it. And this right here is about that center now. That's about where she would be. So I would expect her to push up to here, and if she has anything going for her, like the news, like the low float, that she could do something. Now today was a very, very low volume day. You can see what happens on big volume days. So I would put this in your watch list. Be very careful and quick, because once the big volume comes in, it moves quickly. So I'm going to throw BNCM up here and go find us another juicy piece of fruit to dig into. The next one we're going to take a look at, I found over here at Current Market. Current Market gives you the stocks that have the most activity across the entire OTC market. I mean every stock, all 11,500 of them. You can come down here and you can search by clicking these different buttons. You can get how much money was thrown at each company, or how many shares, or how many trades, which I really like. When I look at the trades, I am thinking people. I see 2,350 trades. I figure there's roughly 1,500 to 2,000 people. That's a lot of people, and that's bringing a lot of money to the stock. So that's what I primarily look for down here. You have the advancers and the losers. Of course, we only look at the advancers. I've got this already opened up for me, and I started going down, and I didn't get too far, did I? Right at the top, I looked for a big number with a lot of trades, and I found 1,030 trades with almost 1 million shares and almost $1 million into the company. Well, actually over $1 million. And this is VKIN with 34% gains. Now I know 34% gains ain't 100%. It's not 1,000%. But folks, this is what's normally happening every day. Every now and then you find these big ones, and we will. But get used to taking 20-30% gains on each of your plays, and you're going to do just fine. All right, let's come over here and take a look at VKIN. Viking Energy Group, Inc. at $1.17. They did 34% gains today. This is a QB stock. That's a better stock. Why? Because they have to audit their financials. The pinks do not have to audit. They can if they want to, but they're not forced to, which means any financial numbers they give us, we're just taking their word for it. Not exactly the same as being transparent. They have verified profile this month and are penny stock exempt, which means they're like responsible adults now. We don't think of them as reckless teenagers. They've proven that they can handle what they're doing, so they've been given a lot of leeway on the OTC market. Transfer agent verified, you got to have one. And independent directors, got to have those if you ever want to uplist. And most companies don't just have them hanging around unless they have plans on growing. So let's take a look at the overview page, see if there's any sort of news. You just scroll down to the bottom, you can get a quick glance. We have no news since 2 months ago, and we have no filings since 2 months ago. What else we got over here? Well, if you come over to quote, you can see what their share volume is today. We had 350,000 on a daily basis for the last 30 days, but today she hit almost 1 million. She went up 3 times her daily volume. That's a good growth in volume, and that's why we're particularly looking at it. But not the only reason. No. You know I always have something else up my sleeve. Here we go, folks. We have 500 million shares in the bank authorized. 95 million are on the market, but only 5 to 7 million, not quite sure which it is, and it doesn't matter because both are great numbers, are in the float. That's what's on the market every single day between me and you. That's a beautiful number. And low floats cause big bounces. That's why we like low floats. So let's go see what we can find out about this on the chart. All right, VKIN with a 7 million float seems to have had a jump this morning. Hit a low bubble. That's probably the catalyst right there because there is no news, there is no filings. Maybe there's something over on Twitter that I didn't see, but you can see there was a lot of volume and it banged. It jumped from about 90 cents to almost $1.35. That gives you about 40% gains. And that was at 9:45 in the morning, folks, before 10 a.m. Now, I'm not going to say it hit its high because it got higher. In the middle of the day when most stocks are sleeping, this was taking on more gains. Now it has fallen across the 200 and it looks like it is going to come down even further, which isn't bad for us. We are looking for an opportunity to get in low and bounce back up. Now again, you can see this has had a plateau, and it's looking to build a third plateau. So let this fall. Let it go as low as it can go, and when it bounces back, you're going to make some money. You see this bounce right here? That bounce right there is 10%. That's a 10% bounce in 5 minutes. That's a 15% bounce. This is 40%. A low float produces good gains in a short amount of time, and that's on little volume. So this can really move, and as you can see, backing out to the 4-hour 6-month, the volume has not been slack here recently. It was, but here it took a jump when it pushed to a second plateau. Pushing into the third plateau, it has really taken on a lot more volume. And I expect, even if this falls, I expect this to come back somewhere up around here. Minimum. With this float, there is no telling. A 5 million float can move this stock. So this definitely belongs over here. It also belongs on your low float watch list if you have one, because these can bounce over and over and over again for years until they change their structure. So now we have 2. Let's see what else we got. Now this is kind of strange. I did do some preliminary work before the bell went off, and I had found a stock right underneath VKIN. Now it hasn't dropped off, the trades didn't disappear, but for some reason it isn't showing up on this list anymore. But I made notes, so I still have it. The stock I was looking at is CBGL, Cannabis Global Inc. Cannabis Global Inc. is at just over 2 cents. Did 28% gains today. They are pink current, no problem there. Verified profile and transfer agent. So everything is kosher with this stock. There are no risks, at least not in that sense. Scrolling down, we see that they've had no news or filings here recently. Let's go over to the volume, see what they did. They normally do about 1 million shares. Today they did 14 million shares, almost 15 million. So there was definitely a big boost in volume. Security details, share structure. Again, we've got 500 million out there. 106 are actually on the market. And the float, I can't tell if it's 28 or 56. It's a little difficult to tell there. I would be more inclined to think it was 56, considering that this is the one that's more current. And what do we have for financials? The financials, 27,000, not a lot. They're not doing a whole bunch of money right now. And as we said, their disclosures are pretty much nil. So let's go take a look at this stock and see what we got. CBGL, Cannabis Global. It had a big surge today. It hit its high of about 2.5 cents, and it started here at about 1.5 cents. So it got itself about 60% gain, something like that, but it gave away about 50% of them and then took off again. And it's got a good strong punch here. Even though the volume isn't very big, it did push the price hard. And that went from 21 to 22. Not major, not big. What else we got going here? There is a lot of volume. Remember, we saw all that volume, which is really what we're looking at here. It looks like it took a high and it came down off that high because people took a fear notice of it. Whoa, take my money, it's going to crash. And it did. Now it looks like it tested that 200, and it does show it's pushing up. It came down and bounced off of it, which is an excellent sign. It bounced off to 200 and is going back up. Float isn't too bad. Volume is very strong, so I would anticipate this to do something tomorrow. So we're going to put this on our list simply because it has some momentum with the volume built up, and the share structure isn't too bad that you could get yourself 20, 30, 40% gain out of this. CBGL. Still sticking to the advancers page, going down, looking at each one of these big numbers, checking them out, seeing if there's any setup, good float, strong volume. None of those had any of those. That's why I have passed them. You may want to look at the others. I haven't. The one I did choose right now is 441 trades, did over 1 million shares, $500,000 and 30%. This is PLRTF. This is Plymouth Rock Technologies. They're at 37 cents. They did 29% gains today, and they are also a QB, a better stock. Verified profile, transfer agent, and again, independent directors for uplisting. Let's come over and take a look at the information available current. We have nothing since last month for our news, and we have nothing since last month for our filings. What was our volume like today? Well, they normally do 142,000 shares a day, at least for the last 30 days, and today they did about 8-9 times that much. That is something to take notice of. And the share structure, well, it's, oh boy. All right. Normally I say to go with the highest number because we got 25,000 held at the DTC, which I am not going to presume that is. However, that is the newer date. You got 40 million down here, which I would be more inclined to agree with. This has an F at the end of its ticker. That means it's foreign. And the reason I noticed that down here is because under authorized shares it says unlimited. I guarantee you it's not unlimited. Every company has a set number of shares. They just don't have to reveal it, being a foreign company. That's all. And again, let's check the financials just to see what they're doing. 17, 18, nothing, 21,000, 54,000. So they're a very, very small company with little money coming in right now. All right, let's go take a look at the chart and see what we got going on over there. PLRTF is doing pretty good here recently. You can see that little itty bitty bump here is significant actually when you compare it to all the other bumps. Not a lot of them going. She had a low bubble here about 4 days ago, and since then has been climbing, climbing, climbing. One heck of a low bubble push. Now there has been significant growth. Every day it is getting bigger and bigger, as is the volume. All of it is increasing constantly. So because of the steady growth, bouncing off of the low bubble, a halfway decent float, and a significant jump in quite a long time, I expect that this could show us more gains. So we're going to throw it up here and hope for the best. And we'll keep an eye on it tomorrow morning. Now, still working with the advancers page, I have jumped down here to CBCL, CYBL. Now look at this, 6,000 plus trades today. You figure that's at least 5,000 people. That's a lot of people. 239 million trades, and look at folks, just over $9 million thrown at this company today. That is something we're going to take notice of. 49% gains, almost 50%. Let's see what we can learn about CBCL on her summary page. CBCL CyberLux Core, just under a nickel, 50% gains today. Pink current, verified profile, transfer agent verified, that all looks good. So you can trade this with confidence. Scroll down to the bottom for anything current. Looks like they did just go current. That was something that just got taken care of last month. And this here is probably worthy of looking at. This is a recap for their accomplishments last month. You can get a quick overview. Let's see what we can find out here. We gained full compliance with the OTC Markets Pink requirements. We knew about that. We announced Mr. Larson Isley as CyberLux Executive Vice President and General Manager of our Flight Eye Drone Solutions business unit. So they got some new bigwigs coming in. We introduced our Flight GDN platform, a global UAS capabilities framework to harness the future of UAS capabilities. And we were honored to be recognized by Yahoo Finance as one of the top 10 best micro-cap stocks to invest in. Not a little thing, is it? What else we got down here? We announced our channel delivery partnership with Strike Group. Let's see. We had a great Q3 with over $2 million in revenue, beating our expectations by over $500K. So that's something to look forward to. We have finalized the second acquisition, which gives access to new markets in both the US and Europe. We will be announcing this detail this week. Folks, we got catalyst on catalyst on catalyst with this one, just from this PR, and this was from a couple days ago. What was her volume today? Well, her volume was about 100% more than it normally is, 154 to 239. Let's hope for a good share structure here. Well, you can't get everything you want. Authorized shares, we got 8.7 billion, 5.5 billion on the market, and the float is 3.7 billion. Nothing to get too excited about. They say they've got about 614 investors, but that was back a few months ago. So let's drop that in there and see what we get for CBCL. Now, we have looked at CBCL quite a few times. She's had a lot of activities lately. As a matter of fact, I got a lot of lines here. Okay, we can see that after her huge climb, she has had a huge fall. Quite a big fall. And it seems to me, I drew a line here, so let's back this up. That looks to be the 50% mark of that surge. Let's come in. Yeah, we took a reading here from the day before to the top and found the middle, and that seems to be where it fell to, right on that support, and bounced back up really hard, folks. That came up really hard. You can see that we are under the signal line, but the MACD is showing It's about ready to do a crossover, and the RSI is climbing. Lots of volume here. Let me back that out so we can see when that volume is beginning. Well, the volume has started right about here. And you can see it's been solid, and right now it's very, very strong. So because of this volume increase, and CYBL has got a lot of catalysts. There's a lot of things coming out with them right now. I think they belong in our list to be watched. This may not run tomorrow, but you shouldn't always keep things on a watch list for 24 hours. Some of these watch lists should be around for quite a while. So let's throw CYBL in there. I'm sure she's been on our list before, and we may end up putting her on there again. Now this next one I actually found going through the news here, but the news is from yesterday, but I was going through to see if I had missed anything, and this came in late yesterday. So let us take a look at OODH, Orion Diversified Holdings. Another stock just under a nickel. They did just under 11% gains today. Pink current, verified profile, transfer agent verified. That's what you want to always see. We're in good shape. They say there's shell risk, and it sure looks like it. I don't see any money coming into the company right now. So why am I looking at it? Well, there's lots of reasons that can make a stock move, and fundamentals aren't always the key element when it comes to an OTC stock. First thing we notice is that they had news, as I said, yesterday. They have already gone pink current. So let's take a look at this news, and I'll show you what I had found. Orion Diversified Holding Company, as they say, they're caught up on their pinks, and they created a new subsidiary and a letter of intent for producing oil and gas property for the Permian Basin. Right down here, Orion Energen, a Texas corporation, will be responsible for acquiring and maintaining producing oil and gas properties in the Permian Basin of West Texas. Orion Energen has signed a letter of intent to acquire 4 producing oil and gas wells in Pecos County, Texas, currently averaging 14 barrels EPD on 160 acres. So there was your catalyst, folks. The news, they have created an entirely new subsidiary, and when you're a shell and not making any money, that's good news. It means you're going to start making money. So what was the volume today on it? Well, it was exciting. They normally do under 1 million shares, 703,000. Today they did 7.5 million shares, almost 10 times as many shares as normal. That's excitement brewing. What's a share count look like? Share count isn't bad either, folks. We got 250 million shares. Most of them are on the market, but only about 25 million are in the float, compared to 200 million on the market. All right, let's go take a look at this chart and see if it presents some opportunities for us. Looking at the chart for OODH, Orion Diversified Holdings, you can see that she did have a jump today on that news. Yes, she did. Lots of volume poured in. I mean, goodness. If you look over here, let's back out under the 6 hours so you can get a good view here. We had lots of volume back here, and is that the stimulus month? It is not. That is unbelievable. That is huge for June. Something happened here in June, folks. I'm not quite sure what it was. Could have just been a filing. Not quite sure, but there was a lot of volume there. Then we had a big poke of volume here at the beginning of the month of September, and now we're doing it again. We've got these huge jumps of volume. Now let me see here. That bounce went from 6.8 down to 4.7, 4.7 to 6.8. Geez, you're looking at almost a 50% bounce there in 4 hours. And these small blocks here, they're jumping from 32 up to 38. You're looking at about 8% gains on these regular boxes through here. So the float isn't doing a whole heck of a lot to help it. But looking at that 6 hour, let me back out. You can look at the 200. The 200 is just coming into play. That's that purple thing right there. The 200 SMA, simple moving average, is now moving into play. And you can see it is curving up. It is starting to pull away. And you can see why. The price is pushing up very hard. MACD is coming up, and the RSI is working its way up too. So it hasn't got a huge potential, but I do see there is a lot of attention on it. They are going to move from being a shell company into making money. That's a big deal. That is a big deal. So we're going to throw that on here, OODH. Now I've got 2 special stocks I want to share with you. One is unbelievable, and the other one is very hopeful. This is the hopeful one, TGGI, Trans Global Group Inc. They're just over a penny. Just over a penny, folks, and this is going to matter when I tell you what I'm going to share with you. This hits 2 cents, you've doubled your money. 3 cents, you've tripled your money. Put in $1,000, you've made $3,000 by 3 cents. Do I think it's going to hit 3 cents? Folks, if I say $3, are you going to believe me? I'll show you why. This is all pink and current. They're verified, transfer agent, and they're a shell company, which is about to change in a very big way. The company just updated their description. Let me read it to you. The company was formed as an investment company planning to acquire companies in a liquor industry in China. Notice they said in China. This is very specific. It says the company's sole purpose at this time is to consummate a merger, and it is. Look, when you jump over here to Twitter, which I told you I love to do, they tell you the new name of the holdings company incorporated to take the nano sauce wine Drunken Fairy Zhuanggu Wine Company onto the OTC through a reverse merger with TGGI. Notice the live date. Something more will be revealed. I want to zoom in on this because you can tell by the broken English this wasn't written by, well, probably was written by a Chinese. Transglobal Group in China, so the reader may make an informed decision about the stock. The big points. The rumors related to the potential for Zhuangai International Holdings Group to reverse merger into TGGI Shell. Now, this has been going on for a year. Let me show you this. This is on Google. You can find this around in other places. This is back from January of this year. U.S. Cross Global Group, TGGI, Industrial Merger, Reorganization, and Session signed on schedule. You can see right here, Drunk Ferry, return information. Mr. Ren Fiang, Chairman of the Board of Directors of TGGI, and the Chairman of Drunk Ferry Return Liquor Industry. Right here is the two of them starting the process to bring this all together. A $6 billion company. I didn't mention that, did I? That's right. This is a $6 billion already operating company that is successful in China selling this nano-emulsified some sort of wine that isn't sold here in America, neither is the stock. And they want to get America's business on both. And the chairman of the board, the CEO of the Chinese $6 billion company is the chairman of the board of TGGI. We've seen enough information. It's been coming for a year, and now you know that this company is going to merge with TGGI for a penny. Now, I don't know what the stock's doing right now, and I really don't think it's important to look at the chart because we're not looking at anything except a reverse merger. My suggestion is buy now, buy at a penny. If it dips to a penny, by golly, grab that. Grab it, because when it reaches 10 cents, you've got 1,000% gains. When it reaches $3, you have got 30,000% gains. Folks, I would not mess around. Or is that 300,000%? 300,000% gains, folks. A $6 billion company will push this, and you don't want to miss it now that you've been told. And the last stock I want to show you comes from our financial reports. It's a stock that is going current. And this has got a lot of mind-boggling factors to it that I want to lay in front of you and see what you think. Now, I haven't had a chance to go through all these yield signs, folks. These have come in the later part of the day when I was getting information ready for this video. So, come back here. Click on these. Any one of these could have a low float, be going current tomorrow, the next day. Any one of these yield signs could jump. Now, I particularly found these down here, INOO. They are going current. Well, actually, the fact of the matter is they've gone current. And this is where the curiosities begin. You can see here it says pink limited information. But when you come over to the TOS and try to put it in, no. It's not coming up on the boards. Why? Because this hasn't updated across all the brokers yet. The OTC market has updated it. FINRA has updated it. but the brokers have not been updated yet. And this lag and correlation of information, syncing it all together, is an opportunity that we can take advantage of. What other information can we get here? Okay, let's see, our volume share. Boy, they say they have no volume share, but then if it was expert going to limited, there would be none. How about their share count? That would be interesting to know. This is one of them crazy factors, folks. Look at that. They say they have 100 million in the authorized shares, but only what? 400,000 on the open market? Are they kidding? And down here, really? 103,000 shares in the float? Come on. Now it might be 1,350. I can't believe that. I just can't believe that. So I'm going to go with 103,000, which is still very hard to fathom. Now, what else did I want you to see here? I wanted to actually point out their price action, because on the expert market, they can be bought and sold by marketeers and brokers. And this is where the game begins. Let's look, starting at about August, it was $1 a share. At the end of August, it fell down to half a penny. At the end of September, it jumped to $5.75, folks. And then again, it fell down to 2 cents. Those are some huge jumps. When you go from $1 to a half a penny and then back up to $5.75, I can't even do the math, folks. The gains on these are simply astronomical. So let's go look at the chart and see what it looks like. Now, I told you I couldn't pull up a chart. You really can't, but you can sneak one out of the 4-hour 6-month. So let's go take a look at that. Okay, this is INOO TPT Strategic Inc. They are a subsidiary of a parent company of another company that a friend of mine on Pennybois found out today, doing even more DD. She was into it and found these two companies are hooked together. The other one is a QB, and this one is just becoming current. The other one has a ton of shares, and this one has no shares. I mean, come on, folks. If this sold 1 million shares in one day, that would be 10 times as many shares as it has. Do you know what that would do to the price? What we see here. This is the 4-hour 6-month. This is a full year. Now, consider, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got about 20 transactions in a year. That's about it. So it is more than thinly traded. It is rarely traded. Now we can see down here it is left at 3 cents. This bump it fell from was at 5.75. That came off of a low of 1 penny. And above the penny it dropped from $1. So folks, this is just unbelievable gains. These are tremendous bounces, and that is the whole point. Now something, oh, it's gone now. The friend I was telling you about, we had noticed that up here on the bid and the ask. Oh, it is still there, right there. Let me zoom in on that. You see that there? 4 cents for the bid, which is what? Just a penny above the price right here, and $73 for the ask. I'm not lying, it says it right there, $73 for the ask. So this has an unbelievable float. It has already uplisted. The OTC market in FINRA says they're not an expert market anymore. It is available to buy. The problem is that the brokers don't know it yet. So tomorrow morning, TD Ameritrade may find out, may get the information, and this is going to go live. And folks, if it jumps from a penny to $1, that is what? 10,000% gains right there. And I'm not going to even start talking how many gains it is on these bounces up here. We got $7 up there. So I am putting this on the list because there is the possibility any moment of it going live, because it's already been uplisted, and that tremendous float is going to make it bounce fast. $100 is all you need. You don't need to be silly. You just need to be quick. When this goes on the market, you got to be there. You got to be there when it goes. Now, that same friend, boy, oh boy, she said that on TD Ameritrade, she was able to put an alert in on this stock for 00001. And just, if it goes above that price, tell me. So, and it took the alert. So she may actually get an alert when this company goes live. And if she does, she's going to teach me something, and she may get a pocket full of cash too. So we're going to add that in over here, folks. INOQ. We are also going to add TGGI onto here. We don't know when that reverse merger is going to happen. I'm sure they'll announce it first, and there's going to be a huge jump just on the announcement before it happens. So this is going to stay on my list because I know what it is going to do. It is going to jump. Okay, folks, that be our list. Let's go take a look at it. Now remember, folks, don't leave all the DD to me. There are lots of stocks out there we didn't take a look at. I showed them to you at the top of the advancers, on the top of the filings, the financial filings. There are quite a lot yet that I have not looked at. And you may find some good runners for tomorrow, things that could go pink and jump really hard. Now this is a good list. We've got some here that should move tomorrow. We've also got TGGI, which may move in a month or 3 months. So don't throw the list away. These lists should be kept. You should have a watch list for low floats. Have a watch list for your experts. Watch lists, well, are like bankrolls because they can make you money. Why throw away a lottery ticket before you check it, right? I think we're done with you. All right, I hope I showed you a couple new places today to go looking for information so that you can spot a good stock. You can go over to compliance statistics and you can get stocks that are going from shell risk to making money. That's a big catalyst most people overlook. I'm telling you, folks, there's so much information out there and it all can make you money. The more you know, the more you grow. See you, folks.